I call it summer camp. It was great because essentially we got about almost 6 weeks before we actually started production to just work on tennis. And we were under the support and guidance of Brad, who is incredible and an iconic person in his own right. Truthfully, I had no idea about tennis. I knew nothing. All I really knew of tennis was Venus and Serena. And it was one of those things that it was terrifying as a challenge to like take on, because you know you're supposed to be a great tennis player, and I've never been a great tennis player. And I think I was incredibly nervous showing up, and I think we were all incredibly nervous showing up on that first day. And so we did tennis training beside each other. We worked out beside each other, and we also had rehearsal beside each other, which was such a privilege to be able to have that time to work on the script, to get to know each other. But during that tennis training time, I think I was, driving myself crazy trying to, become a tennis player, right? Like I was trying to learn the fundamentals and make sure, like I remember when I first started hitting the ball, it just would go off into trees. Like it was just never even close to the court. And I was like, damn, I got a long way to go. And eventually, with tennis, if you're picking it up, it's not a game you could just pick up, right? Like, unless you've been playing since 4, it's not happening for you. I would come in and I feel like I would get it. I'm like, yeah, I got this. Okay. Like something clicked. And then you come in the next day and you can't do it and you can't recreate it. And you're like, damn, back to square one. And I think there's one thing too, is like, they're feeding me balls, right? I once asked, I said, I want to try to see what it feels like to return a serve. Someone like, hit me a real one. The way that thing flew by me so fast, and at the time I still had glasses. I've since had LASIK, so I couldn't even see the dang thing. So at some point I realized, okay, my approach has to be different, because this whatever this is isn't working. And as soon as the ball's flying at me, all of a sudden my fundamentals and all the form and everything is gone. I'm just trying to hit it or get out the way. And so we eventually, especially watching Luca, I think he was starting to build these scenes and choreograph them, because every shot in these tennis sequences was storyboarded, and it was so thought out and it was so meticulous. So I said, okay, well, maybe that's how I need to approach it too. Let me approach it like choreography. I'm a dancer, so let me dance this thing out, and I began to just focus on, we had amazing tennis doubles. And I just wanted to sync up with her, right? I wanted to understand her footwork, her patterns, her movements, and just try to make it as seamless as possible. I wanted to look like her mirror, and then I'd record myself next to her and I'd watch it back. I'm like, I could do that a little bit. Her arms a little more and her shoulders a little bit, and she's quicker on her feet, so that kind of became my entryway into looking like a tennis player, because I knew that at some point I wasn't going to be one, but I could fake it. So yeah, that kind of became eventually where we got, but the training was pretty intense, and it was great to do it beside them, because I know they were just as committed as well. And yeah, we're struggling together.